Hey guys, I don't know about you, but this time of the year I always get a bit reflective, maybe nostalgic, just kind of thinking over the year that has been. We're starting to really focus our efforts on Christmas. It's just right around the corner. New Year's, what does God have for us in 2024? But before I get into all that, I always want to stop and reflect on what God's done in 2023. And I want to share that with you of what God's done in the past year in and through the Praetorian Project. I know there's lots of bad news in the world, but I have what I believe is some good news for us. Progress of the gospel, specifically in and through military communities. If you're looking at like the progress bar, this is a little bit longer than my normal video. Like I said, I'm in a reflective, nostalgic mode. And so this one's going to be a little bit longer. So just one video this month. But I just want you to settle in, maybe go grab a cup of coffee and hang out for a second. For those that don't know me, my name is Brian O'Day. I'm the executive director of the Praetorian Project. Praetorian Project is a family of multiplying churches in military communities worldwide. I also serve as one of the pastors of Pillar Church in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is where I'm filming from today. And our church is about to turn 11 years old. We're adjacent to Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune, where I served a fair amount of my active duty time with the Marine Corps and then also some reserve time with the Marine Corps. Before I reflect on 2023, I want to tell you about a book I read in 2022. I had no clue why I was reading the book. I can't even remember who recommended the book to me or how it ended up in my hands. But the book was called Dark Clouds, Deep Mercy, and it's about biblical laments. And so I was reading this book in 2022. I found it to be helpful. I found it to be useful in pastoring others as they were wrestling through laments. It helped me in some past losses of mine to think through those things, process through those things, to really wrestle through biblical laments. What I didn't know as I was reading that is what the Lord had for us in January of this year. We started, the Praetorian Project family started our year by getting punched in the gut in a really significant way. Um, Clint Clifton, Pastor Clint Clifton, he was one of the founding pastors of Pillar Church of Dumfries, Virginia, the first Pillar Church. He was really the visionary and founder of the Praetorian Project. And on January 12th of this year, he died unexpectedly, as most of you know, in a small plane crash. And that just hit all of us in a very profound way. We all gathered together. His memorial service was just a week and a half or so later, January 21st. We gathered together. I think it was about 1,000 of us gathered together to mourn Clint's loss, to grieve with one another, to come together with one another. Um, it was it was a really unique experience because so much of what we do is in pretty small pockets. All of our churches are pretty normative sized churches, 100, 150, 200 on a Sunday morning. So to see 800 to 1,000 people who had been impacted by Clint, churches who had been started by Clint and or his mentorship and or Praetorian Project, churches thereof, all of that together, just to see all that in one place at one time was really profound. I was so thankful that we were able to gather so many of us together to mourn Clint together, to think about his life, to think about his legacy, and to think about what we needed to do in response. And we were actually encouraged during that time with some words by Jennifer Clifton, Clint's wife. She wrote this, and she had it read at the memorial service by Clint's oldest son. And she said this: "There is a big hole in the church planting world of the Praetorian Project with Clint gone. But that does not mean that we get to give up. What it means is that we all have to step up, push harder, and stretch ourselves to continue the task Clint spent so much of his life doing. And for those of you who know Clint, you know he breathed church planting. He just wanted to see more churches planted, and Praetorian Project, churches in military communities, was a huge part of that vision for Clint. And so, man, by God's grace, with that encouragement from Jennifer, with just thinking about Clint and his legacy and everything else, we've been able to continue the work in light of all that hit us in January. And frankly, we still continue to process through. In March, so that was all in January. In March, we were able to celebrate together as a new church was planted, Pillar Church of San Antonio, Texas, launched in Central Texas. It is one of the strategic locations we've been trying to get to for a couple of years now. And we're so thankful that Pillar San Antonio started. It's there, Air Force Base is there, Army Base is there. They're all kind of collectively known as Joint Base San Antonio. So we're excited that happened. A couple weeks later, in April of this year, we celebrated together as Pillar Church of Havelock was planted. That's here in eastern North Carolina, adjacent to Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Points. In June, we came together again as a family. We gathered as the Praetorian Project pastors, and our families, our wives, our kids, came together. This time we met in New Braunfels, Texas, so not too far from San Antonio, Texas. We were hosted by one of our partner churches, Oakwood Church. Beautiful place, opportunity, wonderful hosting by the brothers and sisters, the saints there at Oakwood. And these retreats are just a big deal for us. It was especially important this year, coming back together a few months after Clint's passing. But these retreats are a big deal for us. The leaders of our churches, to include the wives of our pastors, the kids of our pastors, we get to come together. We're encouraged. We get to connect with one another. We get to meet the new folks, the new planters, the future planters. We get to reconnect with those that we don't get to see as often as we'd like. We get to encourage one another, spur one another on to the mission that we're a part of together. Big deal for us. We're able to recharge for the days ahead. During the retreat, again, lots of fellowship, lots of connectivity opportunities there. We were able to handle just a couple pieces of business at that point. We welcomed Pillar Church of Stafford in as a member church to Praetorian Project. One of the things we do is we want to see our church plants, like a church plant is not fully like self-sustaining, self-governing, all those things right at the beginning. And so we want to see them grow to the point where they're self-governing, self-sustaining, able to stand on their own 2 feet, so to speak. And then once they're able to do that, we join them into membership of Praetorian Project. So we were able to do that with Pillar Stafford when we came together for the retreat in Texas. A couple months later, in September, we gathered just the pastors together. This time we were in California, Morgan Hill, California, about an hour outside of San Francisco, hosted by another partner church, West Hills Community Church. Amazing job hosting them, being able to connect in a deeper way with the saints there. We were able to come together, again, encourage, support, connect, reconnect, all those things. But also with a smaller group, with just the pastors there, we're able to like strategize and think about what it looked like to move forward as a family of churches. And we really started with 2 questions. The first one we asked on the first night, and it was this: why are you here? Like, why are you a part of this work and not some other work? Why are you a part of this work? I really wish you could all just hear what guys said as we went around the table. They believe in the mission of reaching the military. Many of them are military veterans themselves, and so they're continuing the mission to make disciples among the military that they had started while they were in the military. Some of our guys became Christians in the military, and they want to evangelize and see people come to know Jesus who are in the military. And so, lots of those reasons and so many more. The camaraderie, the fellowship among the brothers was awesome to see. So, we asked that question, why are you here? And then the second question we wrestled through for really about a day and a half was, what does the Praetorian Project look like when we are 50 churches spread out in even more locations? What does it look like when we're 50 churches? By God's grace, we were able to make some real headway on answering that question. A lot of the goals and things that we'll have for 2024 are really in response to the discussions we were able to have there in California. Such an important time together. Also, we did conduct a little bit of business. We affirmed Pillar Church of San Diego as a member church in Praetorian Project. And we approved 2 new church launches at that point, Pillar Church of Crestview, Florida, and Pillar Church of Norfolk, Virginia. So we basically gave them that final approval to launch, be officially a Praetorian Project church. And then just a few weeks after that, on Veterans Day weekend, November of this year, Pillar Church of Crestview, Florida launched. Crestview is adjacent to Eglin Air Force Base. There's really a cluster of bases all in that area. So they're there, they're ministering in Crestview, Florida. They launched just a few weeks ago now. That plant is special, and that launch is special for really so many different reasons. That's probably for another video to really highlight all of those reasons why that was a special time together. Maybe we'll do that at some point in 2024, but just a great time to be there. I was thankful I was able to go down for the launch. It was a good time. To summarize where we are, though, like where we are Praetorian Project wise, if you're keeping track at home, and I hope you are, we are now 13 churches. Northern Virginia, DC, there's 4 churches up there. Eastern North Carolina, there are 3 churches here. Crestview, Florida, Panhandle of Florida, 1 church there. Central Texas, there's 1 church there in San Antonio. Southern California, San Diego, 29 Palms, and Oceanside, there's 3 churches there. And then there's 1 church in Okinawa, Japan. So 13 actively meeting churches. Pillar Norfolk, Lord willing, will launch first half of 2024. And then we got a couple of other churches we think are in the works. Pillar Fayetteville is officially in the works, probably first half of 2025. And there's rumors of a church plant in Killeen, Texas, outside of Fort Cavazos, formerly Fort Hood. And so for those of you keeping track at home, that's where we're at. That's kind of where we're moving towards. But you might be asking the question, why am I telling you all of this? One is I'm just really thankful for all of this and just the small part that I get to play in this. And I just want to invite you in to be able to celebrate, to thank God with us. I don't know about you, but when I look at any kind of news, I turn on the TV and watch news, or look on the internet for news or whatever else, there's so much bad news out there. And especially in this Christmas season, especially as we're about to turn over the calendar to a new year, man, I just want to thank God for the reality that God is good, that God is working, that God is doing something, and that God is continuing to make disciples of all nations through his disciples. He's continuing to advance his kingdom. He's continuing to advance the church. Jesus was serious when he said that he was going to build his church and the gates of hell would not prevail against it. We're seeing that happen. And so I know there's a lot to get discouraged about. I know there's a lot of bad things going on, but God is still moving and working in this broken world. And so I just want to usher you in to thank God for something. If you've been lamenting all the bad things that are going on, I just want you to be aware of some good news. And so that really, first and foremost, that's why I'm making this video. I also wanted to process through it myself, so I wrote down my thoughts over the year, and so I just wanted to process through that myself. The second thing is I do want to invite you into this work, or I want to invite you further in to this work. And so I don't know if you're a prayer partner or a financial partner or a member of one of our churches, one of our pastors, whoever's watching this. I want to invite you into even deeper partnership with us. The work that I just described of what we've done over the past year in 2023 is really the work that we continue to do until we're not able to do it anymore. As long as the Lord allows, and as long as His hand is on this, we continue to move forward in this. Most likely in the new year, I'll kind of map out what some of our goals are so that you can be praying with us and for us in this. So I'll probably map out what some of the goals are in 2024, but man, spoiler alert, it's a lot of the same stuff as what we've been doing for the past year and the year before that and the year before that. We're seeking to make disciples and plant churches in military communities around the world. That's what we're trying to do. And so if you're excited about that, if you're cheering us on about that, man, we want to invite you to come into that. And so here's just a couple of tangible things that you can do. I highly encourage you to do. The first one is to pray with us and for us. So typically in a given month, I'll shoot one or two videos. Usually it's two videos. One, I'm checking in with a church and I'm interacting with one of the pastors there. The other one, I'm kind of giving you some news of something that's going on around the project. 2 videos a month. We post them on Facebook. We drop them into YouTube and we send them out in an email. So what I would encourage you to do is subscribe to that, figure out how you're going to get that news, get that information, and commit that every time you see those that you're going to pray for us. At the end of, I think, all of those videos, I say, if you're still watching this, please pray for us in this. Please pray for this church. And so just commit right now in 2024, I'm going to do that. I'm going to stay engaged with what's going on. I'm going to stay engaged with what God's doing in and through our military communities, in and through Praetorian Project. And every time I see that email or every time I watch one of those videos, I'm going to stop right then and I'm going to pray for this work. So that's the first one. Be praying with us, be praying for us. Okay. The second one is I do ask you to partner with us financially. Commit to this work with some dollars. What I just described costs some money, and I'm just going to highlight one of them, and it's a big piece of our collective budget for Praetorian Project, and that is getting our pastors together. Okay, I love when churches work together. I love when pastors of different churches work together. Not only am I part of Praetorian Project, I'm part of a local association of churches here in my town. There's about 30 of our churches here in our town that come together and we associate together. And it's pretty cool. Once a month, all the pastors are able to get together and have lunch together, right? 30 churches come together, the pastors can have lunch together. The cool thing about that is it doesn't really cost much money. All of us get in our cars and we drive to a central location and we have lunch together, right? So pretty normal, not that logistically challenging, right? We can all get together, we can encourage one another, we can connect with one another, we can talk about mission together, we can be spurred on with one another together, we can learn from one another. Like all the good things happen when we get together. I wish we could do that Praetorian Project wise. Like, hey, let's all get lunch together once a month. We just can't do it. Like I said, I'm in Eastern North Carolina. I've got guys in Okinawa, Japan, California, Texas, Florida, Virginia, right? We're spread out. And so we get together twice a year. Pastors' family retreat and our pastors' gathering. And we're trying to start a new one. We're trying to start a gathering of our pastors' wives, really our planters' wives. Those ladies whose husbands are starting the planting process. We want to connect them. We want to be able to mentor them. And so these gatherings, to bring all these folks together as we grow as a family of churches, continues to take more money. And so when you guys partner with us financially, you're helping us do that. You're helping us come together, work together for this great mission that the Lord has given to us. And so I just encourage you. Obviously, you can give one-time contributions. Those are helpful. Those are great. Definitely at the end of the year can be a good time to do that. But I really want to encourage you to jump in with a recurring gift, a recurring contribution to this work. You can go to praetorianproject.org/give, praetorianproject.org/give. You do have to be able to spell Praetorian, which is not the easiest thing in the world, but we'll drop some links where I share this video. But recurring giving to Praetorian Project, you might be surprised at how far that can go. And if you give what you're able to give in a recurring way, that really adds up over time. And as lots of people do that, that adds up over time as well. And so I just want to encourage you to do that. So this year, as you kind of round out 2023, as you look forward to 2024, I encourage you to start by thinking about, okay, how are we budgeting our money for this year? How are we giving of our first fruits in worship to our local congregation, to our local church? And then can we partner additionally with other missions efforts? And I just encourage you in an ongoing, recurring way to partner with Praetorian Projects. I would love to have you do so. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I really wish I could sit down at a table like this with all of you and really explain even further some of the great work that's been happening over the past year, everything I've highlighted in this video. But I hope this has been helpful to understand and just see all in one place what God's been doing over the past year. I'm so thankful for your ongoing interest in Praetorian Project. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your ongoing partnership with us. I love you guys so much. Thank you.